Okay. Look, if they had a Native American talking about fracking, it wouldn't have been more on the nose than the hefty chicks talking about being comfortable in their body.
She moved herself to tears.
Yeah. All right. Can I just say this? In a world where everyone is freaked out by third-hand smoke, and you're not supposed to have soda pops that are more than 16 ounces, and we're worried about salmon that's raised on a farm versus, and like I said, it's all smoking, tobacco. Hey, let's ban e-cigarettes. How about the negative health aspects of being 150 pounds overweight?
Yeah.
Is anyone, or that's to be celebrated?
Pride and shame is one thing, but if you were to ask any doctor, would you want your child to be obese, overweight, chubby even, versus have a healthy body? Of course they would say they want them to.
I think the point that she's trying to make is we're coming to understand that you can't shame people into being thin. Or at the very least, you can't shame them into being thin in a healthy way. They can shove their fingers down their throat, they can take a ton of diet pills, but you're not going to be able to shame them into being healthy. It just doesn't work.
Right. And, well, sort of and sort of not, because I've seen plenty of instances where people did get shamed into just about everything that worked. But there's still a difference between not shaming somebody and then celebrating somebody who's unhealthy. We don't celebrate smokers. They're unhealthy. We don't celebrate whatever. People don't wear seatbelts. It's not safe. You know what I mean? Like, we don't celebrate people riding motorcycles with no helmet. Like, there's still this thing of, like, I need to be celebrated for who I am. Ironically, coming from the people who are freaked out over, like I said, they've invented third-hand smoke. Fracking is going to kill. Fire's going to come out of your spigot. Like, all radon gas is seeping from the floors. There's environmental allergies. I mean, all the people that are Purelling the most are celebrating the hefty chicks the most. You'll die faster being overweight than you will be a smoker.
But are you truly worried about her health, or are you just exactly?
I'm saying it's hypocritical to go after third-hand smoke and then celebrate hefty chicks. They both have negative health effects.
Yeah, the scale goes from shame to pride with a nice zero in the middle. And while I agree that we probably shouldn't, I don't think we should shame people who are overweight, but I don't think we should celebrate it either. I mean, there's a healthy take care of yourself, but I'm not going to. All right. Plus or minus.
Anyway.
But if she's two-fisting a hoagie, I don't get fat by watching her do that.
No.
I might get a little cancer on me if somebody's blowing a cigarette in my face.
Yeah, but the big argument of, as a society, we all pay because we have to pay your health bills and for smokers, and we do all that. Well, it's the same with the two-fisted and the hoagie thing. Either way, I tuned in just at the moment where the hefty chick was telling me she never felt better about herself.
That's unfortunate. I think we can all agree.
She was crying. And listen, I don't know, and you guys tell me, I don't want to sound like a prick. I'm just saying, when did we all have to feel marvelous about ourselves? I mean, what I'm saying is feel marvelous about your role in life. Be a marvelous dad, be a marvelous mom, be a marvelous motorist, be a marvelous lover.
Marvelous motorist.
Hey, lover.
We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.
This program is intended for mature audiences only. If you have any homicidal or suicidal feelings, please consult a doctor before listening to this program.
Yeah! Oh, people, let me hear say. Oh, yeah. That's right. I'm about to bust a cap, yo. Yeah. Good evening. Yes, you are actually tuned to the right place. This is, of course, Tuesday night Crash Talk, HTLA Radio 1, New York's best talk. And I am your DJ, That's right. Chris Crash Jesus Taylor with Jenny in the booth, bouncing the bustins and busting the rhymes and all that. Yeah, good stuff. Well, good evening and welcome to the show. And oh, what a show. Because I am going to bust a cap. Yes, I am. Tonight on Crash Talk, I'm, looking at cyberbullies. Yes, trolls and, other assorted morons who make public statements only to have them tread on by said cyberbullies and trolls. And wonder why. Also, what is our recourse with all this, or should there even be any? Freedom of speech and all? Freedom of expression? Yeah, don't they factor in? Well, tonight, I'm going to try and find out on the big program. Yes, I am. Of course, this show is brought to you by Tim Hortons, New York City. Now, with 8 fine locations in the city to serve your coffee and baked goods needs. And man, they do. And they're always fresh. Tim Hortons, check them out. Yeah, it's going to be a long show tonight. Yeah, it's going to be long, drawn out. I'm going to come at this from all angles, and maybe at the end, you too can come to some understanding with me about the whole mess. Yeah. Well, that's at least the goal, anyway. That's what we're going to try and do on the show tonight. So I hope you'll stick around for that. Yes, Crash Talk. I'm a bust a cap, yo. Cyberbullies, rape tweets. Oh, yes, we got rape tweets, too. Did I mention that? No, I didn't. Yeah. Also, some real-life payback, yo. Yeah, we'll see how that works. Or not work. Whatever the case may be. It's all right here. Don't touch that dial or iPhone or whatever the hell it is you got me on. We're going to be rolling with some Tuesday Night Crash Talking and its finest. Well, right about now.
HTLA Radio 1. HTLA Radio 1 in New York City proudly presents Crash Talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, HTLA 97.3 FM in New York proudly presents rock superstar Crash Jesus.
Thank you very much. Good night, all that good stuff. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it may be to you. You have, of course, got it tuned to HTLA Radio 1, New York's best talk. For tonight's edition, the Tuesday Nighter of Crash Talk. And what's got y'all riled this week, Crash? What's going on? What's the big deal? What does it matter, man? Chill out. Well, of course, I'm talking about a story that breezed across my desk earlier today. And I sort of thought, this is kind of a innocuous, pointless story. It doesn't really matter. Blah, blah, blah. And there it is. And yeah, who cares? There you go. Next. Right? Well, of course, in my usual style, I couldn't just leave anything alone, could I? No. Because this story kind of stuck with me after this morning when I read it. It kind of stuck with me in the sense that Tim Hortons. That'll stick with you. It kind of stuck with me today in the sense that there was a lot of different issues all wrapped up in the one little stupid story. And that kind of, well, I guess surprised me. But it also kind of intrigued me because, well, not too much intrigues me these days. Seriously, it doesn't. But I started thinking about this report, and I started thinking about all the just huge myriad of different angles that this story has, and thought to myself, geez, this could be a good story to go with. So tonight I'm going to tell you about the story about Curt Schilling. Some of you may know from his Red Sox days playing with the baseball team there. Well, yeah, the news story that I'm, of course, referring to. Uno momento, por favor. Yes, thank you. The news story I'm referring to tonight, of course, is about Curt Schilling and his daughter, 17-year-old Gabby. And the headline of the story reads, Curt Schilling exposes bullies sharing sick rape tweets about his 17-year-old daughter, and gets one fired and another suspended from college. Yeah, so I okay, all right, sure, I'll bite. I'll go in there and give that a go and see what comes out. Well, a couple of things came out of it. Actually, a whole bunch of things. But what really got me about this story is not just the initial complaint from the man. It's not the obvious, trolls out there, the cyberbullies that'll grab that kind of stuff on Twitter and just play with it like it's their bitch. No, because that goes on every day. Cost of doing business, right? That's nothing. What's the newsworthy thing here? Mm-hmm. Because it doesn't jump out at me right at the beginning here. He's exposing bullies, sharing sick rape tweets about his 17-year-old daughter on the internet. Well, how is that even news? That's just every day. Well, the former Red Sox player named 2 cyberbullies behind tweets targeted at his 17-year-old daughter, Gabby. Now, the story all starts with the former Red Sox and Phillies player, Curt Schilling, putting out a tweet congratulating his daughter, actually, is what happened. And subsequently, he exposed cyberbullies and trolls who posted offensive and sexually explicit comments about his daughter on Twitter. Yeah. Now, the 48-year-old ESPN analyst shared a proud tweet last week about his only daughter, 17-year-old Gabby. She was joining as a pitcher for the Salve Regina University's softball team. And you're probably sitting there saying to yourself, well, wow, who's he? Nobody pays attention to him anymore. And his daughter, well, who's she? Nobody cares. Well, it was met with crude sexual remarks, apparently. Yes, it was. Schilling named 2 of the culprits, including Adam Nagel, a student and DJ at Brookdale Community College in New Jersey, who since has been suspended from school and now faces a conduct hearing, according to Boston.com. Yeah. The father of 4 told GMA Today, I'll do everything not to embarrass my daughter, but I'll never not protect her, he says. His daughter Gabby, who appeared with her father in an interview today, added no one should be able to get away with saying those things to a father about his own daughter. Yeah, well, the actual post that he put out reads, and I quote, "Congrats to Gabby Schilling, who will pitch for the Salve Regina Seahawks next year!" Exclamation point, exclamation point. Yes, he put that out on February 25th at 2:53 in the afternoon. It received 120 retweets with 272 favorites. In what was meant to be an incredibly proud day, the above congratulatory tweet, the aforementioned, I should say, that Schilling shared about his daughter Gabby quickly turned sour when the tweets mentioning rape were posted in a reply. Okay, now, from the account at primetime227 on Twitter. They replied, "Fraternity, you don't call your country a something, and I'm respectful, comma. I'll probably text her in the morning." Okay. All right. That's apparently trolls and cyberbullies at their finest right there, I guess. I don't see anything wrong with this tweet. You don't call your country and I'm respectful. I'll probably text her in the morning. If anything, that seems to me like, I don't know, it almost seems to me like a compliment, you know? Yeah, I'd text her in the morning. No? Well, at the very least, does it seem to you like something worth getting fired over or thrown out of your college? You might also say no. Well, let's move on. An hour later, he replied again, "How far is Salve Regina from Jersey? I want to come and play, but Gabby wants me to come, C-U-M, and stay." Okay, all right, so I'm not sure what that means either. Gabby wants me to come and stay. So is come now the new word for rape? I'm not seeing any threats of rape here. Yeah. Well, the second troll that Schilling named is Sean McDonald, a part-time ticket seller for the New York Yankees and former vice president of the Theta Psi fraternity at Montclair State University, who recently graduated from the school. Well, he was fired from his job with the Yankees today, which he held since January. This comes to us from NewJersey.com. Schilling wrote a blog post commenting on the astounding ignorance and lack of morals following the incident. He also shared the vile tweets by the trolls. I guess those two kind of innocuous-seeming tweets I just read you. In what was meant to be an incredibly proud day for the family, quickly went sour with vile responses to the baseball legend's original tweet. He's a legend? Carl Schilling, a legend? I'm not sure I'd go that far, but okay. Schilling wrote on his blog post, quote, "and tweets with the word rape, bloody underwear, and pretty much every other vulgar, defiling word you could likely fathom began to follow." Although he doesn't post any of those here. No, unless I completely misunderstood the two I just read to you. Yeah. Okay. Well, Mr. Schilling told us on Tuesday, anybody that reads those tweets and says it's just a joke, they are not fathers of kids. Well, Mr. Schilling, I am a father of many fine children, 7 to be exact, and many girls. And I didn't really see anything too wrong with those 2 tweets you've got here. Sorry. He continued, "I grew up in a locker room, and never in my life have I uttered the words these guys were using. There was a conscious decision to say evil stuff." There you go. Evil stuff. Well, I can see negative stuff, maybe, with negative connotation, perhaps. I don't, however, see what he's talking about here. But okay, it might be just me. You know, maybe all those terrible blood-soaked panties and rape allegations and everything came in tweets that he didn't care to share. But nonetheless, they're not here. Now, the sports guru, yes, well, he's a DJ named Adam Nagel. DJ is a bit strong since he's on the air for 1 hour a week on Brookdale Student Radio at Brookdale Community College. How do you think that place feels about this stud representing their school? You don't think this isn't going to be a nice compilation that will show up every single time this idiot is Googled for the rest of his life? What happens when a potential woman he's after Googles and reads this? Well, geez, isn't that kind of cyberbullying and And trolling? They're a sports legend? The other clown, question mark? Well, he's the VP of the Theta Xi fraternity at Montclair State University. I gotta believe if the Xi is cool with VP of one of their chapters acting like this, I'd prefer to have no one I know in it, he says. Also, does anyone attending Montclair State University have a student handbook? If so, can you pass it along? Because I'm pretty sure there are about 90 violations in this idiot's tweets. Well, McDonald, who went by the Twitter handle Primetime227, along with Nagel, user Nagel's Bagels, were among those who shared offensive tweets. Both their social media accounts have been deleted. And Schilling, of course, names McDonald and Nagel in his 38 pitches long post. The father of four, Schilling, pictured with his daughter Gabby, told us on Tuesday, "I'll do everything not to embarrass her, but I'll never not protect her." The tweets initially came from some people wanting to date Gabby once she was on campus, but soon turned offensive with many sexually crude comments about the 17-year-old's body. McDonald, who went by Twitter handle Primetime227, along with Nagel, went by Nagel's Bagels, were among those who shared offensive tweets. Both of their accounts have since been deleted, of course. Brookdale Community College released a statement giving their sincerest apologies to Gabby and said the Twitter comments posted by the student were unacceptable. But I'll bet you the school kept his student loan. Huh? What do you want to bet there? Yeah, right. Shut up. Next window. The school said the Twitter comments clearly violate the standards of conduct that are expected of all Brookdale students. Okay. The student has been summarily suspended and will be scheduled for a conduct hearing where further disciplinary action will be taken. The Brookdale police are actively investigating the matter. Yes, because let's get the police involved, too. Clearly, this is something... What? Well, Schilling said that once the tweets started being posted, Gabby came to him beyond upset after she started to receive personal messages from guys. He responded saying it's never okay for a man to talk about a woman in that way. Well, that's a nice opinion, Mr. Schilling. That's great. Kurt Schilling tweets on March 1st here, 38pitches.wordpress.com. There are repercussions to your actions in the real world. And then Gabby replies to that tweet, writing, "I don't know what I would do without you. I love you so much, Dad." Mm-hmm. I'm going to go for my first commercial break here and, shoot something. And then when we come back, we'll get more into this story and why it's attracted me so much to do a special Crash Talk on it tonight for HTLA. We'll be back in 2, gang.
And you are listening to Crash Talk with Christopher John Taylor, a.k.a. Crash Jesus, on HTLA Radio 1, New York.
What if there was a coffee that was sourced from some of the world's most renowned growing regions, abundant with rich, fertile soil? What if this coffee was picked at the perfect moment, then packed meticulously and shipped carefully to be roasted under the watchful eye of coffee masters? What if it was expertly blended, ground, and sealed, ensuring maximum flavor and freshness, then brewed in small batches and always served fresh within 20 minutes, just the way you like it? Now, what if this coffee just happened to be the coffee you already know and love? Tim Hortons. Always fresh. Always great tasting coffee.
I've been so inspired by being in New York because everything from what people are wearing on the street to the way they're interacting with each other, to drive through the West Village at night and you see a couple kissing on the street, or you see someone fighting outside their apartment, or you see so much humanity on a daily basis that even if you're not inspired by your own life that day, you can be inspired by someone else's life.
You got that long hair, slicked back, white t-shirt, and I got that good girl face and a tight little skirt. And when we go crashing down, we come back every time, 'cause we never go out of style. We never go out of style. Take me out.
There's only one place to get more Taylor.
Some said the U.S. has lost its innovative power. We said America is lighting the way as the innovation nation. Singular insights, superior execution. That's the power of global connections. Bank of America Merrill Lynch. Voted top global research firm 2011, 12, and 13.
When we arrived at our hotel in New York, the porter was so incredibly careless with our bags. And the room they gave us, it was beautiful. A broom closet. But the worst part was the shower. My wife drying herself with the Egyptian cotton towels. Shower curtain defined that whole vacation for her. Don't just visit New York. Visit TripAdvisor New York.
With millions of reviews, a visit to TripAdvisor makes any destination better.
The hot new accessory, brows that wow. New from Maybelline, New York, it's Brow Drama, our first sculpting ball brush with tinted gel. Just sweep, then sculpt for bolder, sculpted brows. New Brow Drama. Get the look at Maybelline.com.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.
Yeah. That's right, my peeps. What it is. You be rolling with the Crash Man. Sorry. I don't know why the hell Jenny put that in there. That's the segue music back into the show here on Crash Talk tonight. And man, it does not go. Jenny, just kill that. Thank you. Yeah. Do something a little more Crash. You know, think Crash Jesus, Jenny. Think Crash Jesus and play the first thing that comes to your mind. Come on. Now I'll wait here. Go ahead. Well, I remember back when I was a boy, I went to school in the snow. Oh, okay. Well, thanks, Jenny. That's great. I remind you of an old Western saloon, it seems. Yeah. That's nice. Okay, well, in case you're all just joining us, welcome to the Last Call Saloon. Yeah. Yeah, 34 degrees in the big city right now, Central Park, and it's raining. So, yeah, hey, it got above freezing, and it's actually dropping water droplets. I haven't seen those in, damn near 6 months. What do you know about that? I'd like to do a shout-out to one of my all-time favorite listeners, Greg Howe, coming to us from St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. Nice to see you, Greg. Glad you whipped by for the show today. And the show today, I'm a bus a cap. That's right. I'm a busting a cap, yo. And you might be like, well, what you busting a cap for, Crash? Well, it's pretty simple. Pretty simple. The cyberbullies and the trolls of the internet just need cappin' bussin', I guess, is the term. No? Cappin' bussin'. Honey, turn the music off. Jeez. Thank you. Man, you gotta find something else when we come back from our next one, okay? Yes, thank you. Yeah, and of course I'm talking about the apparent baseball legend Curt Schilling. Now, I haven't watched baseball in, 30 frickin' years, so I was kind of laughing about Curt Schilling being a legend, and truly if he is, my apologies to the Major League Baseball League there. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really care. Yeah, not really into the baseball thing. It's too damn slow, which is kind of like this whole story, really. But then, don't worry, just chill with Crash here. He's going to straighten things out for you. I know every one of their names, he says, their parents, where they go to school, what they do, what team they're on, their positions, their stats, all of it, Schilling says. He said that the guys behind the bullying are not the thugs or kids who had it rough, but they are pretty much all white, affluent, college-attending children, he says. Okay. Well, following the incident, apparently, he said a few of the other trolls wrote to him apologizing after they were suspended from their college sports teams. And 2 others have since deleted their Twitter accounts. So it's like, what, are they afraid of the Schilling man now? The big baseball league guy is going to come and get them? I guess so. One Twitter user, Mike Kelly from Utah, wrote to Schilling asking if he felt good to have gotten kids kicked off their sports teams. Schilling responded, "Not sure if I can tell you how good, being able to defend my daughter. Someday when you understand honor, integrity, you'll get it," he says. In his protective father mode, he also wrote as a reminder to those who went after his daughter that the real world has consequences and that we're at a point now where you better be sure who you're going after, he says. At the end of his post, he said that he apologized to Gabby, who he said might be embarrassed by it all, but like any dad, he just wants her to head to college knowing how much he loves her. Isn't that nice? He wrote, quote, "I love you more than life itself, and there is nothing I would not do to protect you, including put you under a magnifying glass for the country and indeed the world to forever separate you as the untouchable." Yes, right. Well, now let's get to the reasons that I've decided and elected to put this story on my show tonight and rant about it. Shall we? Let's get to all that. You'll have to excuse me. I'm enjoying a fine hand-tooled Corinthian tobacconist product as we do the show here, as I often like to do. Number 1. We're in America, right? Okay, just checking. Just checking, because, of course, we have that Constitution, don't we? And in that Constitution, there's little things that they jotted down in there 200 and whatever years ago, isn't there? And they make some notes like freedom of speech. Well, yes, they did. And if you really go and read your little constitutions, all you little Americans out there, you go read those, and what will you find? Well, you will find that actually more so pertains to the press. Freedom of speech. It actually pertains to the press. It can be construed as being applied to American citizens, and quite often American citizens claim that right of freedom of speech, don't they? Yes, they do. And what about freedom of expression? Well, I think in these days of transgender this and vaginal mesh that, and I'm a homosexual and I want to get married anywhere, and well, if it's accepted in my state, I'm going to move to a state where it's not accepted and expect them to recognize my marriage because they can just suck it. That's kind of the whole attitude about everything these days. You know, in the day and time of the PC-ism that we deal with here now, we have to just choke down and swallow everything, don't we? Yeah. What would it be? Yeah, here's some questions. What would it be if it was 1941 right now? And some black guy decided to get on and sit in the front of the bus. Contemplate that for a moment. And while you're contemplating that, think of what would have happened in 1959 when a homosexual came out and said, "I'm gay," and demanded the right to be married. Well, in both 1941 and 1959, there would have been brutal beatings and a stain left on the ground, which is where that would have ended right then and there. But those things didn't happen in those times. I'm just putting out some hypotheticals for you to think about. And there is a reason for my madness here, yes. I want you to think about these things. I also want you to think about things like trolls and cyberbullies. Now, of course, you have to look at cyberbullies. Let's look at that right off the hop, because, of course, that's relatively new to our society, what with the internet and all, that newfangled interwebs. Yes. Yeah, we've had it now for what, 15, 16 years now in any kind of a large scale, pretty much? So, you know, all these cyber terms and tech terms, of course, have come out and been put into the little dictionary, haven't they? And, of course, we do have freedom of speech, and all too often people are exercising that right all over the internet. But it should be interesting and most important and noteworthy to point out, I would think, that the internet isn't the United States of America. No, the internet is global. Yes. Global. It's spans many countries, many borders, and of course, many different regulations and laws. Now, here's another hypothetical for you. That gay couple I was telling you about a few minutes ago who lives in, I don't know, a state, pick one that currently says that gay marriage is okay. And they live there, but they've decided, you know what, we're going to move to Indiana. And they move to Indiana, and, oh, geez, what do? They accidentally trip into a state that doesn't allow for gay marriage. And they, of course, petition the government. Well, we're married. We were married in California or some other bloody state that okayed our marriage. Why won't you recognize it? Well, because here it's illegal. Now, they're all up in arms about that because, hey, it's okay in California or wherever the hell we just came from. We're Americans, damn it. And California's part of America, and we're Americans, and we're married there. Well, it still doesn't change the fact that you're not married here. Just because something is illegal or legal over there doesn't mean it's legal here. And, of course, my illustration on coffee and cigarettes this afternoon, if any of you caught that, was, of course, what? Well, you can do rails of Bolivian cocaine in Colombia right up the street if you want. That's okay. Well, actually, no, it's not, but I'm just making an example. So you bring your backpack home with 5 keys, and you try and do it up Main Street, USA. What do you think's going to happen? Just because it's okay in the jungles of Colombia doesn't make it okay here. And you can't just go, hey, I used to snort 5 keys of Bolivian love dust or whatever the hell we're going to call it today in Colombia all day long. I come back from my vacation of snorting, 5 kilometers of lines, and I can't do it here. Now you've got me arrested. You've got me in for life because, I was trafficking and do you see? It can be okay somewhere else, but not okay here. And if it's not okay here, you can't just sit there and say, well, it's fine in Indonesia. Well, it's just great over in Turkey. Don't you see that's kind of irrelevant? There are other countries. They have their own laws. Okay, well, now let's apply that to the internet. Okay? Are there, here's a question you're probably asking right now, Crash, is there any international laws against cyberbullies? No. Is there any international laws against trolls? No. And indeed, is there any laws against freedom of speech on the internet? No, there's not. And you're probably sitting there going, well, North Korea, blah, blah, blah. Well, North Korea's got like 3 computers. That's their internet. And it's like the speed of dial-up if the NSA says, okay, turn them down. Yeah, they get like 50K amongst all the computers in North Korea. So they don't even go there. You know, it's not an issue where, you know, Kim Jong-il's going to come and arrest me over here for my statements against the country over there. It's not going to happen. Aside from the fact that the U.S. wouldn't extradite, aside from the fact that I'm actually Canadian, whatever. I can unleash a hate campaign against North Korea all I want. I can be North Korea's biggest troll. That can be me. If I want to spend that time, I can just go there and do that. And there's fat diddly they can do about it. And they certainly can't call up my employer and go, oh, yes, this is North Korea, and we are calling because Mr. Taylor is saying all these bad things about us on Twitter. Fire him. No, sorry. Next window. Okay, so you're with me so far. So I guess the question of the hour is, of course, how does some has-been baseball player, I don't care how good he was, how does he warrant the cred, the street cred, if you will, to just start calling up universities and having people kicked off their sports teams, kicked out of college, fired from their jobs? That's really the question of the hour. And here's the other thing to think about during this commercial. It's not just him with that power, and we've seen this more and more and more on Twitter. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
And you are listening to Crash Talk with Christopher John Taylor, a.k.a. Crash Jesus, on HTLA Radio 1, New York.
Good morning. Welcome to Tim Hortons Cafe and Bake Shop, where fresh always tastes better. What can I make you this morning?
How about our new flatbread breakfast paninis? Made fresh, just for you, with your favorite breakfast ingredients on maple or multigrain flatbread, then grilled to hot, melted perfection. Just $2.99. Who couldn't warm up to that?
Tim Hortons Cafe and Bake Shop, where quality really does meet value.
Instead of mailing everyone my vacation photos, I'm saving a ton of time by posting them to my wall.
Ooh, I like that one.
It's so quick. It's just like my car insurance. I saved 15% in just 15 minutes.
I saved more than that in half the time.
I'd unfriend you.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
15 minutes for a quote isn't how it works anymore. With Esurance, 7.5 minutes could save you on car insurance. Welcome to the modern world. Esurance, backed by Allstate. Click or call.
I've been so inspired by being in New York because everything from what people are wearing on the street to the way they're interacting with each other, to drive through the West Village at night and you see a couple kissing on the street, or you see someone fighting outside their apartment, or you see so much humanity on a daily basis that even if you're not inspired by your own life that day, you can be inspired by someone else's life.
You got that long hair, slicked back, white t-shirt, and I got that good girl face and a tight little skirt. And when we go crashing down, we come back every time, 'cause we never go out of style. We never go out of style. Take me
There's only one place to get more Taylor.
The hot new accessory, brows that wow. New from Maybelline, New York, it's Brow Drama, our first sculpting ball brush with tinted gel. Just sweep, then sculpt for bolder, sculpted brows. New Brow Drama. Get the look at Maybelline.com.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Some said the U.S. has lost its innovative power. We said America is lighting the way as the innovation nation. Singular insights, superior execution. That's the power of global connections. Bank of America Merrill Lynch. Voted top global research firm 2011, 12, and 13.
We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.
Oh, yeah. There we are. Whoa. All right. That's a little different there, Jen. Okay. Welcome back to the show. Crash Talk Tuesday nights. Tonight's episode, of course, Ima Bus Capio. That's right. For this Tuesday, March 3rd, 2015. 34 degrees Central Park right now. Raining. It's good to see. We're supposed to hit 41 tomorrow. That's even more exciting. But then, right back down to 20 and snow on Thursday. Yeah, right. So, whatever. I'm not going out for another 3 months. 3 months. Yeah. March, April, May, June. Yeah, June. That's about good. Should be about 60 degrees in the city in June. Well, there you go. Welcome back to the show, and thank you for tuning in to Crash Talk tonight. Of course, tonight, I'm talking about cyberbullies and internet trolls making the headlines again. Of course, yes. Thank you very much. All right. There we go. I don't even know what the hell that was. But anyway, and of course, I'm talking about Kurt Schilling and his Twitter fiasco, apparently defending his daughter's honor because of all these disgusting tweets talking about rape and bloody panties and everything else. And of course, the two tweets that he's putting up here from these guys who he's pretty much destroyed their lives. Quote, tweet number 1, fraternity, you don't call your country a blank ... and I'm respectful, I'll probably text her the next morning. And of course, the second tweet, quote, how far is Salve Regina from Jersey? I want to come out and play, but Gabby wants me to come, C-U-M, and stay. I'm lost. I don't see how that's terrible. It might not make much sense, but I don't see it being terrible. But anyway, he's gone out and he's pretty much destroyed their lives. Had one kid kicked out of school, had them kicked off sports teams. One guy lost his job. Yes, in this economy, yes, let's just make him lose his job. Well, you know, this kid is not the only one who's lost his job over saying things on Twitter. No. Now, as you all probably know, listening to HTLA a lot, if you do, most of our shows, we talk about, Twitter in a joking fashion, talking about how it's the new news agency. But it's funny how more and more every day stories are coming out being confirmed by Twitter, or people are making news because of Twitter, or they're making news because of things they say on Twitter. And, of course, people are indeed getting fired from their careers for things they say on Twitter. And my mind is going back to, I'm going to say about 5-6 months ago. There was a girl, I guess she's about 30, 31 or so. And, she had a decent job. She was the VP of something or other for some corporation. And she was going down to South Africa for, I don't know, some business trip or what have you. And she went and made some sort of innocuous tweet on Twitter that was perceived by the morons out there, the sheep, I'm going to call them. Her comments were perceived as being racist. And, I think she was talking about the hotel and I hope they have shampoo or some bloody thing. And she said something to do with black or blackies or something like that. And, of course, that kind of innocuous, kind of vague tweet was, taken, of course, the absolute wrong way. And, that lady lost her vice president of something or other for that corporation's job. And that's a college-educated professional woman who just happened to say something that somebody else took as being racist. And, of course, subsequently lost her job. And Well, probably not hired again by another of that caliber, wouldn't you think? And the question here, the kind of thing that gets me with this story is Kurt Schilling is coming out as the defender of the victim, being his 17-year-old daughter, and in his defense of his daughter has kind of destroyed these two other guys' lives, and I guess countless others who I guess maybe didn't write and apologize to his ego, which clearly this seems to be a case of this to me. If I'm wrong, let me know. Yeah, you can tweet me at CrashTalkin', or you can also email the station here at producer@htlaradio1.com. That's the number one. Thank you, just like us. Fire me off an email. Let me know what you think. Yeah, like to know. But now, couldn't it be construed that as he's, posing to be this defender of the victim online, that he isn't actually a troll or a cyberbully of his own? Yeah, think about that for a minute now. By the course of his actions, because he didn't like something that somebody else had said on a congratulatory tweet that he sent his daughter, because he didn't like it, these guys now don't have school, they don't have jobs, et cetera, et cetera. So he even says to one of them, there's real-world ramifications for what you're doing. And, of course, what the guy did was write kind of a completely cloudy frickin' tweet that doesn't really say anything. And if you think I'm wrong, again, email the station, let me know, tweet me. Yeah. But I don't think I am. And, because this guy used to be a, quote, baseball star? Well, why is he more important than anybody else, number one? Number two, I would actually have to say that he is the cyberbully and the troll in this situation because he has affected people in the real world with his actions, while these other guys who have been affected have done what? They've said something. Well, I guess freedom of speech doesn't apply. I guess freedom of expression doesn't apply. And if that's the case, America, don't we have bigger problems? Holy crap. Stop and think about that for a minute. Freedom of expression and freedom of speech, boom, hereby stricken from the Constitution. You no longer have that right as Americans. Have a nice day. You telling me out of the 350 million people in this country, you wouldn't have about 300 million of them having little riots and Ferguson riots of their own? You bet you would. Well, so if there is indeed freedom of speech and expression, then isn't Schilling here the bully? The troll? Interesting questions, yes? Well, now you've got some idea why I picked this for tonight's show. There's a lot of different angles to this, including one that hits very close to home. If we don't have freedom of speech or expression, my show's over. That's the fact of the matter. No more my show. No more Alex Jones. No more Rush Limbaugh. Oh my God, no more Howard Stern. And really, no more radio, unless it's music. But then with music, they're expressing themselves. I'm sorry, there's no more music. And you can't go and hide behind classical music because, well, those artists were expressing themselves too. It falls under the same category, gang. So overnight, no music, no radio. Oh, geez, and then we go to TV. Oh, we start talking about films now. Oh, we're cutting out the arts. But wait. As my good friend and actor John Sheck will attest, we've been cutting out the arts for a number of years now, haven't we? We cut them out of our schools. It's the first to go there. If our children don't get an appreciation and an understanding of art and expression at a young age, when the hell does it happen? Interesting. More questions. More questions. Yes, absolutely. It kind of even brings up things like, what's his name there from NBC? Brian Williams. Yeah. You know, the big NBC anchor who got suspended and fired and everything from NBC because of a story he told. This gets me. This is something because, you know, what do the news people do? What is journalism? Well, it's a telling of a story. I learned that in film school. That's what we do in film school. We use the medium of film, or now, okay, digital cinema, but we use that medium to what? Tell stories. No, it doesn't have to be a journalistic documentary. Hell, The Hobbit, Frodo. You know, those trilogy blockbusters. Come on. They're stories too. Well, all of a sudden we won't have those anymore. It's not constitutional. Thanks, Kurt Schilling. Way to go, ass. But do you see what I mean, though? Do you see what I mean? This kind of small, kind of innocuous little story, and it opens up all these questions. Well, at least it should. I mean, if you listen to this show, certainly I'm thinking you're on the same, you know, brainwave as I am in terms of levels of comprehension. And I think clearly this little story actually opens up a whole huge can of worms that if you stop and look at that bigger picture, what is that really saying about our society in America? What is that underscoring with the breakdown of America? You know, and these are all pretty huge questions. You know, and then if you look at even the broader scope where it's this whole PC thing, you know, the whole term cyberbullies and trolls was actually coined by the purveyors of PC-ism. You can't say that. You can't say that online. You can't say that. We're going to have the investigations of a lifetime here with the FBI because you can't say that. We see it all the time. People are getting investigated by the FBI. People are losing their jobs. People are getting kicked out of school. People are getting kicked off of sports teams. People are having real-world ramifications because of something they said on social media. And then let's look further now at the internet and you. Yes, your responsibility as someone who uses the internet, and I know you do because you're listening to me right now. You have to be able to use the internet to listen to good old Crashman. So I know you all use the internet. Are you accountable for everything you say and do on the internet? No. Absolutely, unequivocally, emphatically, no. No, you're not. You go on your Facebook, you go on your Twitter, you go put out your blog, you go do whatever you do online there, and everything you type and say out in that realm, it's considered public domain, yes, but it's that digital public domain. And what did I say at the beginning of the show about what this digital public domain is? It's not American. It's global. So what happens the next time you say something that the government of China takes offense to and wants you arrested? Even worse. What happens if you happen to be in China when you accessed your Twitter account and said whatever you did and they arrest you there? Uh-oh. Big problem now. Right. Well, as with everything, I believe that we should be responsible for everything we say and do online. Even with this show. I come on and I give my opinions and my rants and yada, 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 and blah, 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 and always, or at least I try to always issue that disclaimer that, of course, my opinions are in no way that of HTLA at Radio 1 New York or its holding companies. Don't I? You betcha. Because it's not. But that's something to me, and my common sense level, that's something that says to me, well, that should be a given. Really? Do I have to say this disclaimer on each and every single show? Well, of course, the company says yes, I do. But I sort of think, no, my Crash Talk listeners are smarter than that. They know. You know, we don't get any lawsuits here from anything I say on these shows, so I'm pretty sure that all our listeners already understand that, so there's no issue. But okay, I'll say it every once in a while because, hey, you know, we get new listeners, right? Now we're on iHeart, another 247 million monthly. Well, I know I'm pulling in 3% of that, so okay, I'll say it. My opinions in no way reflect those of HTLA Radio 1 or her holding companies. There you go. But let's go back to Brian Williams here. Mr. NBC, Mr. Storyteller. The guy has been in journalism longer than I've been alive. And so he tells the story. And somebody finds out it's not true. And NBC fires him. Well, why is it that NBC fires him? Think about this. When he's anchoring the news, sitting at the news desk in NBC New York studios here, what's he doing? Well, ladies and gentlemen, he's reading a teleprompter. He is infusing the broadcast with words that are being given to him from NBC. So how does him, outside the scope of his work, tell a story to somebody that's not true? How does that translate back to NBC caring? They program every word he says on their shows. He didn't say it on an NBC exclusive documentary. He didn't say it on an NBC news show. No. He said it to some colleagues about his helicopter dealio in Iraq, and no, it was this and it was that. It was some buddies over beers. And now he lost his job for it. And so did the girl who said something about blackies. Well, it's funny. We won't do anything about apartheid for how many decades? But now somebody not even from there says the word blackies, and that's it. They're kicked off, fired, gone, get out. Really? You know, all of this kind of... Well, no, it doesn't kind of. It absolutely reminds me of a meme. Yes, that's internet talk for photo picture with text on it. On the internet there, on my Facebook feed there, I've seen it time and time again, but I saw it for the latest time about a week ago, and it's this close-up picture of this Viking, and he's looking at the camera through his Viking helmet, and he's all dirty from battle, and he's all hairy. He's a manly man. He's a man's man. He's holy Christ, what we used to have in this country in the 1950s and 60s. Holy Christ, yeah. But I'll digress. And of course, on this picture of this Viking, it says, "What must it be like to be someone who mere words can destroy you?" And that really rings true. You know, for all the things we say and do on the internet and all the things that we say about each other and other people and, oh, her ass is fat and, oh, there's Kardashian's ass in my face, buy this. For all the things that we're exposed to, all the things that we say in response to, the way that we get so mad when somebody starts some sort of a chat rant back and forth, when, heaven forbid, somebody comes on with a different point of view, all of a sudden there's death threats, I'm reporting you to the FBI, there's going to be real-world consequences, I'm going to find you, I'm going to dox you. That's another internet term for find all of your real-world information and post it on the internet for all the people to see how horrible you are. I don't know, maybe your house is in foreclosure, or, you know, they'll just dig it all up and throw it out there. Yes. And you see, that behavior that falls under that category of cyberbullying and trolls, doesn't it? Right. But then when you really look at it, we kind of forget the Viking. And when I say we forget the Viking, I'm saying we forget ourselves. You know, really, we're growing a whole new crop on this planet of nothing but pansies. Little girly men. Where is your self-respect? Where is your pride? Where is your integrity? Where is your honor? These things we don't have anymore because, hey, they don't teach them in school. And, both parents are working, if you're lucky enough to have both parents, so they're not going to teach you. We're just growing and fostering this, oh my God, he said something about me, I can't deal with it, call the FBI. Where the hell does it end? Well, I don't know where that ends, but I'll tell you where this ends. And it's 10 o'clock. I am out of time. So, I'll leave you with that. You guys think about that, and I will see you next Tuesday for another brain-teasing Crash Talk. I'd like to thank HTLA Radio 1 New York for having me on and not firing me at the first sign of a lawsuit, which we've never had. Also, be sure to tune in tomorrow for Coffee and Cigarettes, 3 p.m. Eastern, for the Wednesday Grinder. And then, of course, tomorrow night is Film Wednesdays. You betcha. Got all kinds of good film stuff coming at you, so don't forget to miss that. And, yes, thank you, PreSonus, for the 2442 digital mixer we use here at HTLA Studio 2, PreSonus Broadcast Studio here. Check them out at presonus.com. Yeah. There you go. And do I have anything else? No, I don't think so. Gilbert?
Thank you for listening and support the show for the love of God.
There we go. Thank you, Gilbert. And thank you, listeners. We'll see you all next week on another Crash Talk.
We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.